Well, that's interesting. So they have announced the shortlist for the International Booker 2025, and I've already taken you through all of the titles that were longlisted at great length not that long ago. So this is going to be a relatively short video, just filming a quick reaction to the shortlist. Now, I had some predictions. My predictions are based largely on the covers and the titles and the blurbs and what various people have told me about them. So basically it's a huge rumour mill, and I'm essentially making a video complaining about how some books that I haven't read have been prioritised over some other books I haven't read. So, you know, if you want some cutting edge journalism, this is just some random thoughts. So the ones that I thought would be in the shortlist, I thought Hunchback would be in the shortlist because this was a massively subversive piece of writing. It had disability own voices representation, it was weird, it was quirky, and yeah, it was just a really interesting little book. I also thought Solenoid would be a sure thing. In fact, I had Solenoid kind of down as the overall winner because I've started reading this, I'm only a little bit of the way in, and it's reading like Romanian Kafka. It's reminding me of when I read The Castle, and full of kind of philosophical ideas. There's been a lot of kind of, you know, stuff being pulled out of belly buttons as well, which the less said about the better. But Solenoid overall was something that I've been kind of enjoying, and several of my friends have enjoyed it as well. So I thought that would be a surefire, a dead cert for the shortlist. I have a feeling that Max Porter is just being awkward. Or maybe it was too long. Maybe that's it. Yeah, so those are my two that I thought, yeah, pretty much think they're going to get on there. I thought that the Book of Disappearance would be on there because I've heard it's an emotional study of what's going on in Palestine, and basically the premise, what if all Palestinians disappeared overnight. Yeah, I thought that would be very, very emotive storytelling matter. You've got a premise, and I've heard that the book is quite good as well. So I thought that would be, you know, up there in the top 6. I thought on the calculation of volume would get in there just because it seemed like the sort of book that Max Porter would like, and I have absolutely nothing to base that on other than his own books and the title. So don't ask me why I thought that would be there, but I thought it would be there. Indeed, it was the only one I was right about. The other two that I thought would be up there is On a Woman's Madness. I'm reading that at the moment and it's giving me definite Toni Morrison vibes. Writing reminiscent of Toni Morrison and Alice Walker. Very poetic prose, very emotive subject matter. And yeah, basically from, I believe from the 60s, rediscovered, newly translated classic of queer fiction. So yeah, I thought that would be up there. And what was the other one I thought would be in the top 6 for sure? I did write these down, so I definitely wasn't cheating. Also, I wouldn't be bragging about only getting one right. I can't remember what the other choice was. What was the other one? Reservoir Bitches, that was the other one. I thought that would be, again, subversive short stories, lots of stuff going on, possibly some controversy. So yeah, those were the ones I thought would win, and those are the ones that I've bought because these are the ones that I was interested in, that I was like, yeah, I really need to read these, I need to get them on my TBR. So they're the ones I've started reading, and they're the ones that, yeah, I've already kind of given most of my energy to so far. I did think that Small Boat and Under the Eye of the Big Bird, Under the Eye of the Bird, the Hiromi Kawakami book, Under the Big Bird Eye. I did think that those two were possibilities as well. Now I'm gonna have to change my reading plans because completely different books have made the shortlist. I'm not entirely... yeah. I just Yeah, I'm baffled. I'm baffled as to, because there's no solenoid, no hunchback. The two that I'm like most zoned in on and excited about and appreciative of, nowhere near the shortlist. Max Porter, what are you doing? You're breaking my heart. Anyway, so guys, if you've read any of the 6 books, and I'm going to take you through them now, if you've read any of the 6 books that made the shortlist and you think they're amazing and think that I should be more excited about them, I want to know your thoughts. So get into my comment section and tell me what you like about them. Get me more excited, because a lot of reading for me about these kind of literary prizes, it's about the hype, it's about the joint reading experience. And some of these I'm a little bit ambivalent to still. So I want to know what you think. I want you to hype me up. Not hype me up, but hype the books up and get me excited about them. So, at 2 o'clock it was announced, and the first book on the shortlist, and I'm doing these from memory, so I am not going to, I'll stick them up, but they're not in any particular order, was On the Calculation of a Volume by Solvej Balle. And this, I believe, is a Norwegian book, first of 7 volumes, and this is the Groundhog Day taken to the extremes sort of book. And my friend, who is Norwegian, told me a little bit about where the series goes, and I was fascinated just by the whole idea of it. And I wanted to read it, but I was a little bit hesitant just because it's the start of a 7-book series, and I mean, if you have a look around here, I'm not exactly short for reading material, so I thought it would open a can of worms. They are all apparently being translated into English. I don't think they're all there yet. I think only the first 4 have been done. So yeah, I'm quite excited about this one. I did pre-order it, and I was going to order it again today, but I remembered to check my email, and it has already been pre-ordered. So I'm excited. That should be arriving hopefully later in the week. So yeah, so that one, not surprised, perfectly happy about it. Another book that I have already, so second on the shortlist, is Small Boat. Now, Small Boat is about a disaster that occurred in a few years ago. I think it was 2021, but it's about a disaster tragedy that occurred in the Channel when a boat of migrants coming from France to the UK was basically capsized, and both the French authorities and the UK authorities thought that the other side were responsible for the rescue. So unfortunately, no one got involved soon enough, and there were a lot of casualties. I think only a couple of people survived the incident, unfortunately. So this is a book based on a real tragedy, and it's done from the point of view of one of the French authorities who was taking the call, and it's about kind of everyone trying to pass the book, I believe, on to other people. It's a short book, looks very interesting. I'm not overly surprised that this is on there, because like I say, it does sound like a very interesting premise, and you know, there's a lot of poets on the panel, and poets, I was about to say we, I'm classing myself among the poets there, not yet, Ray. But yeah, they like things to be nice and concise. It looks like it's going to be a nice, neat, concise, emotional read. So yeah, so that was number 2. Number 3, Under the Eye of the Big Bird. You know what? This is terrible journalism, Ray. Terrible journalism. I'm going to check the name of the book. Okay, so it is called Under the Eye of the Big Bird. This looks like a short dystopian, I say dystopian, and more like a post-apocalyptic kind of novel. And yeah, it sounds like it's going to be weird. I loved the one Kawakami novel that I've read, which was Strange Weather in Tokyo, but that was very much a romance. There wasn't any sci-fi in it. And this book, I think a lot of people are going to be predicting that this book is going to be the winner. And given that a few really obvious books did not make the shortlist, I'm going to say this is not going to be the winner, just because I feel like this year's panel are going to be awkward, and they're going to be like, nope, that's what you're expecting us to do. So yeah, I am planning on reading this book. I haven't heard much about it at all, to be fair. I know a lot of people love the author, but I haven't heard much in the way of good or bad about it. So yes, I'm excited to read that one. So those are the three that I would have read anyway. And now are the three that I'm going to have to read now. So there is Perfection by Vincenzo Latronico. And this book sounds like it's going to be some millennials, some Italian millennials in Berlin, not having a very good time and generally feeling disillusioned with life. I mean, this sounds a lot like real life, except in a different city, to be honest. Millennials moaning about stuff. This is me. This is me. I'm a millennial, I moan about stuff. I'm not living so much of a party lifestyle though, so apparently these guys are going out to sexy parties and things, and yep, I'm certainly not doing anything like that at the moment. Sometimes a picnic might happen or something. That's like, whoa, really exciting. Really pushing the boat out. So yeah, this book just looks like it's gonna be tedious. I haven't read it. I'm going kind of a little bit off what booktubers that I trust are saying, but I'm not overly enthused. I think it's probably going to be a little bit pretentious. I don't know. We'll have to see. I might read it and think it's the most amazing book I've ever read. Have you read it? Get me excited about it. I need some enthusiasm because, yeah, I want to read the shortlist. I want to do this. The next one, which I was a bit surprised about, because, like I say, if we were going for kind of a poetic literary book, I was thinking On a Woman's Madness would be up there. But we've got Heartlamp by Banu Mushtaq. And this is a book apparently assembled over the course of this journalist, I think she is, was she a journalist? I think she's a journalist by profession, but she did a lot of kind of fiction writing over the years, and this is kind of a collection of her stories. And I think that's probably why it surprises me for it being on the shortlist, because typically, you know, a collection of stories from over decades wouldn't traditionally kind of make the cut. So I'm surprised to see this on there. A lot of people in the comment section on the Booker Prize Instagram were very excited that this one was there. So hopefully deservedly so. It's difficult to get excited about books that don't have much of a cover. So I love the Fitzcarraldo editions, for example. And these editions, I think the Book of Disappearance was the same publisher as well. There's just not that much on there it doesn't really... I mean, I'm not a very visual person, but I'm a very emotional person, so I like to feel an emotional connection to a cover. And if there's not much on it, like, it's difficult to get excited. So, I mean, maybe if they'd put a picture of a lamp on the front, I don't know. I'll have to dig in and find out. Let me know if you know more. And finally, the book that every time I read the blurb, I forget what it's about, and I've done it again. I am not sure what this book is about. I believe it's about a troubled young lady, and I believe it's French. But this is The Leopard-Skin Hat. The cover doesn't appeal to me. The title doesn't appeal to me as someone who, you know, very much doesn't wear fur, doesn't like the idea of... I mean, you know what I mean? It's just not appealing to me. It doesn't look like it's going to be a Ray book. And also, again, booktubers that have read it have not been overwhelmed. The one thing I would say that's interesting about this book, and that may make it more emotionally authentic, is that it was written apparently in the aftermath of the author's sister dying. And when you've got a book that's obviously deeply reflective and deeply affected by such a personal tragedy, sometimes you get that kind of authentic emotion ringing through. And I don't know how much autofiction is here. I don't know whether it's any reflection on her sister's life or her life following the death of her sister. But obviously that's a very emotional thing to happen. Have you read it? what do you think? Tell me. Get me excited about these books, because at the moment I'm just sad that, yeah, sad that the ones that I'm enjoying and kind of, I don't really have a horse in this race. I don't really have a team yet. I haven't read the whole long list. I'm not kind of solidly backing anybody. But I did look at the list and I was very surprised. 1 out of 6. I mean, there's only about 13, is there 13, 16 books on the list in total? Like, that's a really bad prediction rate. That is a really bad prediction rate. I have not done very well there at all. Good job, I haven't made any wagers. I still do hope to read them, but then every single book reading task that I set myself seems to go awry at the moment. So who knows? Who knows? I will catch you later for another video and let you know how I'm getting on with the others. Take care.